welcome to your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 421. If you're writing a book or thinking about it, or maybe you've started writing your book but you need some help getting it done, you are in the right place. Good morning and happy Friday. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh, also known as Christine Inc., especially on social media. Each day I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 18 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have found that three things in particular have a huge impact on your success as an author, and they have the ability to turn someone who barely sees themselves as a writer into a published book author. Those three things are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. Here's today's quote. Never be limited by other people's limited imaginations. And that is from Dr. Mae Jemison, the first African-American female astronaut. Once again, good morning and happy Friday. It is FAQs Friday here on the show where I answer your frequently asked questions, whatever book-related questions are on your mind. And today's question comes from Laura in Reno. Laura asks, what's your favorite method for bringing ideas to paper? Meaning, how do you take an idea and get it out of your head, A, before forgetting it, and B, in a coherent form? Well, that is a very coherent, well-organized question, I must say. And I think this person must know me and how many ideas I have on a daily basis to be asking me something like this. But despite the mess of productivity tools that I use, and some of you have heard me mention here on the show, believe it or not, my number one method of capturing ideas is by keeping notebooks literally everywhere in my life. Like most rooms of the house, in my purse, in the car, everywhere. Pens and notebooks everywhere. You never be too prepared, right? Once I even found a small little scribble board. Not like a whiteboard, I forget. I guess a scribble board, I guess, is the best way to describe it. And a waterproof pencil. It's something that scuba divers use to communicate with each other underwater. And I put that in the shower, just in case. Get a lot of ideas in the shower. But that actually didn't last very long because the board was too small for me to capture anything of substance. It was like the process was too hard. And, if the process becomes challenging, then you kind of give up on it. So, and then if I, had a much bigger board, I might never leave the shower. So anyway, as a result, I mainly capture things in a notebook. So I'll just put the notebook on the bathroom counter and the idea will have to wait. I've tried to do it the audio way, kind of like recording notes to myself in my phone. But since I don't do it often, what happens is I forget they're in there and I find it like a year later, there's like a random audio note in my phone. So the things that work the best are the things that we do. Those are the things that are successful, the things that we should do. So I stick with my old school notebooks everywhere, which is also my point in answering this question. Find what works for you and don't worry about what works for everyone else. There are lots of ways to capture your thoughts these days. And the next part of her question was, how do I do it coherently? Well, I'm not sure how coherent my notebook scribblings are, but I do make it a priority of inputting them into my Google Drive, just my favorite workspace, and sorting various electronic documents there. So yeah, basically my whole life is a combination of 5 subject notebooks, pens, and Google Docs. Oh, and also on the subject of the coherent part of the question, I'm a huge fan of organizing my ideas through making lists and bullet points and mind maps. So I don't try to, do a full execution of the idea the first time out of my brain. That would be a lot. So if you just start with, bullet points and, little dots and notes and mind maps and, just little phrases, you can start zoomed out from the idea, get the big picture, figure out what it is, figure out all the pieces of the idea, how they work together. And then you can start zooming in and developing it further. But don't feel like the idea that comes out of your head needs to be fully formed. Sometimes it's just a list of stuff. So again, explore your options. I know there are many out there from like Evernote and Dropbox and so many that I've never heard of. So do what works for you and somehow capture it. And as I talk about with habits here, have a system for doing it. Like my system is, I have the notebooks. I know where the notebooks are. The notebooks get input into the computer on a regular basis. So have some sort of system, some sort of process. And I would love to hear from all of you. How do you answer this question? How do you capture your ideas, and whether in coherent form or not so coherent form, but how do you capture your ideas? Please drop by my Inc. Authors group on Facebook, INK Authors, and let me know. Thank you for joining me here on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I am helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And if you know someone who wants to do the same, they can listen to the show through yourdailywritinghabit.com. Until tomorrow, happy writing.